Yeah, pause YouTube, SixftHax here. What's up guys, how's it going? I know again, it's that time of the month where I upload a Wi-Fi battle and hopefully try and upload another one and then another, and we'll see how things go. But yeah, if you guys are excited, hammer arm that thumbs up button down below guys. I do have one thing I want to mention at the end of the battle, so if anything, just kind of watch that. It'll be referring to my upload tomorrow, so just yeah, if you guys do enjoy, then you know what to do. So this is a pretty fun ZU match I had against Argon. For those of you who don't know, ZU I think is like an unofficial tier right now, but I think it's in the makings of becoming an official tier, and I really wanted to do a ZU battle. Now I don't know all the Pokemon in the ZU tier, so I may have kind of like some standard ZU mons, but a lot of these mons I think are still pretty awesome, and once I learn the tier more and do some more battles, I'll bring some of the more kind of derpy, funky mons in the tier. So this is a pretty cool team I just kind of threw together from like ZU sets I saw around, and I'll leave a paste bin of it down in the description. I think it's a pretty decent team. I don't think it's the best team ever, but it's pretty fun. As I end up leading off with Grumpiggy, which I love Grumpig, man. I've been such a big fan of Grumpig in like PU for the longest time, and now in ZU it's actually kind of decent, which is pretty cool. And the reason why I led off with it was because I thought he would lead off with the Rotom Frost, which Rotom Frost apparently is like S ranked in ZU, which is kind of insane. Like finally Rotom Frost is worth something in a tier. So I led off with that thing, and he would lead off with it, but he ends up leading off with Purugly. So I switched directly into my Golem here as he makes a switch into his what I believe was Silvally Water, if I'm not mistaken. This match is a couple days old, but I'm pretty sure it was Silvally Water. Regardless though, I get on my rocks. I don't want to stay in and take a potential water multi-attack, so I switch directly into my own Rotom Frost, which is Scarf. I will be able to hopefully outspeed his entire team unless he's got Scarf Manectric or a Scarf Rotom of his own, as he parting shots right back into the Purugly here, which is a little bit annoying. I thought that maybe he would expect me to bring in my Golem here, so I didn't want to bring in Golem and just give him a free U-turn, at least by staying in with my Rotom. Even if he did go for the fake out, I knew it could take that, and then the following turn potentially outspeed him and get off some decent damage with the Volt Switch, and maybe he would expect me to be slower and then he would return. That way I could have brought in Golem, but he actually ends up making a safe switch into Vigoroth, which Vigoroth is actually really scary. I think like the sub bulk up mono attacking set is what Vigoroth is mostly known in ZU for, and that's the set I was really terrified of him being, which is why I bring in my Bandit Liepard here. At least by knocking off and getting rid of his Violite, I can maybe mitigate him a little bit. And then I don't remember if I had Encore or not on the set, but I could potentially bluff that I had the Encore. That way I could kind of deter him from wanting to try and set up on me. As I get up to knockoffs on the Silvally here, I don't want to take a multi-attack, so I'm going to switch right back into my Rotom here. And considering that Rotom's secondary stab is Blizzard and Z-move and sub-split Rotom is very common, I don't think he's going to feel comfortable in bringing in the Torterra, so I figured that switching here into my own Rotom was going to be solid, and I just fire off a Blizzard because there's no real reason for him to leave in Silvally Water. Like, even though it is that low, he can still save it for Death Fodder potentially. As I get off a decent little bit of damage on his Rotom, I'm going to switch into my Grumpig, expecting him to want to go for the Thunderbolt or even just a regular Volt Switch. I didn't want to bring in my Golem on the potential chance of him going for the Blizzard of his own. So he's gonna end up hitting me up with a Thunderbolt here. This is fine. Like, Grumpig is pretty spadef bulky, and it's actually a really cool set. I think it was the Recycle Mago Berry set, which is like Figgy Berry essentially. So once I get down to 1/4 of my HP, I activate the berry and I can recycle it. Now, even though Grumpig does get thick fat, I mean, Gluttony, I think this was a thick fat set just to kind of deal with Rotom Frost, so even if he had knocked me down to below 50%, I don't think he would have activated my berry. But I Focus Blast here just on the off chance that he wanted to potentially stay in or switch into the Purugly on the Psychic or the Vigoroth. Actually, I think that's mainly why I did Focus Blast, because I could catch the Vigoroth, do some decent damage, and then as he slacked off, bring in something else here. But it's not too big of an issue. As I taunt the Torterra on the rocks, I'm going to make an aggressive switch into my Silvally Dragon. He has no Fairy type, he has no Steel type, so I can just kind of drop a Draco here. Nice stab, max special attack. A Draco Meteor is going to do really solid damage to something on his team. At the same time though, what I could do is potentially go for a parting shot, because he may be fearing me having the Ice Beam, and at least by going for the parting shot, this kind of gives me a little bit of momentum. I think the other offensive move on the Silvally Dragon set was Flamethrower, and between Flamethrower and Draco Meteor, I was able to hit like absolutely everything I think in the ZU tier. Correct me if I'm wrong, for those of you who may know more than I do, because I don't know much about ZU. I think this was actually my second battle and ZU against Argon, and just in general, honestly. So he ends up tricking away my Mago Berry, which is a little bit annoying, but the fact that he actually gave me the Scarf is kind of good for me, because now, since this is a very speedy Grumpig set, I outspeed the Perugly, I outspeed the Manectric, and I also outspeed the Rotom Frost, which means he kind of unintentionally made my Grumpig a bulky offensive speedy threat, which could really come help me out later in this match. So I do an okay-ish amount of damage to the Torterra as I bring in my own Torterra, expecting him just to want to get up his Stealth Rocks. He might have also felt inclined to go for the Wood Hammer or even potentially the Earthquake. And this is a pretty cool Torterra set. I am actually a double dance set, which I think is common anyways, but I thought it was a really cool set because I can't remember the last time I've used Torterra here, as I will be able to pop off the Swords Dance, and I'm a +2. I think I am actually Jolly and not Adamant though, so regardless I will be able to do a huge amount of damage, if not knock out something on his team, as he ends up outspeeding me, proving to be a very speedy Vigoroth set as I just blow him all the way back. He's definitely drowning in that water right now. Vigoroth is not getting up after that +2 hit. So down goes the Vigoroth as in comes the Perugly here, and I didn't feel comfortable in going for the Rock Polish because the Rotom in the back, I think if it's Scarfed, still outsped, and then with the Perugly here he can fake me out, potentially he could have Sucker Punch, and then at that point he's already racking up the Toxic on me, so I didn't want to take those potential 2 initial hits if I did take the extra turn of going for the Rock Polish, as I will be able to bring in my Golem here, which, man, I just love the fact that some of these Pokemon are actually like good in the ZU tier. Like Golem is a mon I haven't really thought of ever using, and in ZU it's actually pretty solid, so that's honestly awesome in my opinion, as I will be able to get my rocks back up here. Now we are on an even playing field because he has rocks on my side, I have rocks on his side. I don't want to take a Blizzard here, so I'm going to switch right back into my Grumpig, which does have the Thick Fat, so if you did want to go for the Blizzard, Grumpig would be able to eat the hit, and because he did trick me the Choice Scarf, I would be faster than him if he was not Scarf, which it turns out that he isn't Scarf because he's going to go for the Sub-Zero Slammer here, which I will definitely be able to live. So the following turn, I can potentially go for a Psychic, or I can risk the Focus Blast to guarantee the KO. I'm not sure if he was exactly in range of Psychic actually knocking him out, and maybe I got a low roll, but I figured that going for the Psychic was probably my better play regardless, because if I had missed the Focus Blast there, then Rotom would have been able to live another Stealth Rock switch in. At least this way I guarantee that he's going to drop to the rocks, and that he most likely is going to be forced to just sack it off here. I will give him a switch initiative, but I'm not entirely too concerned about what he may want to bring in against my Silvally Dragon here, considering that he lost his Ice type. There's no way a Perugly should be able to effectively 2-hit KO me. Actually, it probably could, depending on the damage rolls, now that I think about it. But I do still have Golem in the back, so that would have been fine. If he brings in Manectric here, I literally have nothing to fear from this. I'm pretty sure I can easily tank a Hidden Power Ice, and I can just nab a KO with Draco Meteor, as he goes for the Thunderbolt actually and gets the Paralysis, but he doesn't get the full paralysis, which I'm happy with. Like, the fact I didn't get fully paralyzed there is really nice, because I can still nab my KO here, and even though Silvally could have just come in, click Draco against everything except the Perugly, I am just going to sack it off here to the Perugly. This way I don't have to risk potentially bringing in my Golem and kind of giving him a chance to maybe want to go for the U-turn to try and get initiative on my Golem, because he does still have the Torterra in the back, which can easily come in against Golem. So he's going to 2-hit KO me here with the Fake Out and the return. Down I go, as I will be able to bring back in my Golem. And as I mentioned, Torterra is really his only switch into this Golem, so I'm actually going to expect that to come in here, and what I'm going to do is go for the Toxic. Now, by getting off the Toxic on the Torterra, this means I can put it on a timer, and if it proves to be a bit of a nuisance if I lose my own Rotom Frost in the back, or if I just get really unlucky and I miss every single Blizzard, then I can at least have the Toxic to rack up on it and This way I'll still have a chance of being able to beat it with something outside of just my Rotom Frost. So I do manage to land the Toxic on the Torterra here, which is excellent because now what this is going to allow me to do is switch out against this Torterra into my own Torterra, bringing in the plug here because you know Torterra has them trees and them rocks on his back, as I will be able to tank any one hit that he may want to go for. There was also the slight chance that he might have wanted to go for the Synthesis there, but he does end up being aggressive, goes for the Wood Hammer, actually puts me right into Overgrow range if I'm not mistaken, and I'm just gonna click my Z move here. This is a stabbed Bloom Doom in Overgrow range. Whatever he decides to switch in on this, or if he leaves in the Torterra, something is indeed going to meet their doom at the hands of the plug here. So I do end up popping off my Z move as he's just going to decide to sack off his Silvally Water, which I'm pretty sure would have died like 3, 5, maybe 10 times over from this being in Overgrow range. So I'm going to just kind of send Silvally here to its grave as it's just going to get obliterated, and down it goes. So at this point I believe what he has left is the Perugly and his own Torterra. So the fact that I was able to live this means that now I can kind of see what he wants to bring in against me, and even though I will lose my Torterra here, I will get switch initiative, whether it be on this Perugly or his own Torterra potentially. So he's going to finish me off with the fake out, allowing me to bring back in my Golem. Now even though the switch into the Torterra is very obvious, I can't double out because of him having the U-turn, and realistically he has no reason to not just U-turn here. So I am forced to kind of leave in my Golem here and go for either the Earthquake or the Stone Edge, and ultimately Earthquake is definitely my better play because I don't risk the miss. And if for some reason he did want to stay in with Perugly on my Golem, thinking he can knock me out with something, which at this point I don't think he has any kind of super effective move for my Golem honestly, then I might have been able to knock him out with 2 Earthquakes after he hit me up twice. So I do nothing to his Torterra basically. I think I just kind of did leftovers damage there, but I do expect him to want to go for the Synthesis here, so I'm going to make an aggressive switch into my Liepard. Even if he doesn't go for the Synthesis, I don't really need Liepard at this point. I'm pretty sure that Perugly outspeeds Liepard regardless, and I don't think I have the Sucker Punch on this set. At least I don't think I did. I'm not too sure, but he is going to finish me off. It was Abandoned Liepard though, so I'm not too sure if they do carry a Sucker Punch or not. Either way though, he actually ends up going for the Wood Hammer as he is brought down very, very low. This will let me bring in my Rotom here, and even if I don't hit my Blizzard, if he goes for the Wood Hammer, he's going to knock himself out to the recoil. And as I mentioned, at this point I'm pretty positive that Perugly has no super effective move for my Golem, so he's literally not gonna do anything unless he, I guess, unless he like splashes the water from the battlefield here on my Golem. There's really nothing he can do to me. So he ends up going for the fake out. As I miss the Blizzard, he will be able to finish me off with the return, unless he's packing some hidden tech like Hidden Power Water or something that I haven't seen, because I've only seen 3 offensive moves. I'm pretty sure that there's no other way he's going to be able to finish me off here. So I will be able to bring Golem. Turns out that he doesn't have the hidden tech, as he has the knockoff, and he's going to be able to get dropped by this Earthquake, and that is going to be the very narrow 1-0 victory in my favor. So awesome fun game to Mr. Argon there. Check him out guys, channel link will be down below. But yeah, as I mentioned, I will be trying to do some more ZU battles, and once I learn the Mons more, I'll use some more like the fun stuff in the lower like half of the tier, because there's still some derpy Mons in ZU that I really want to try out that aren't kind of like common as the Mons that we are using in this game here. So the one thing I wanted to mention was that I may be bringing back Facecam 4 Wi-Fi battles. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. I want to ask y'all here on this battle, and then tomorrow I may implement it and just kind of see how well the reception is from this battle where I asked you guys, and then where I actually put it into practice in tomorrow's battles. So yeah, with that being said, if you guys did enjoy, hammer on that thumbs up button down below. With that being said, I will see you all tomorrow definitely. So thank you all for watching. Later everybody.
No matter where you're at, I'm not here to make friends, it's time to attack and deplete your HP with a final smash. Don't make me turn around and pull a 6-foot hacks. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks.